Hello there, it's Patrina again with Do You Have a Couple Minutes? And today I want to know if you have a couple minutes to continue talking about relationships. And today I want to talk about relationship differences and overcoming those differences. Maybe some of you remember a tune that used to come on to a children's show and it said, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just isn't the same. And so with that theme song, we were automatically supposed to be looking for similarities and looking for that one different thing that didn't belong. And the question I ask now is that a good approach that just because something is different, we think it doesn't belong, especially when we're talking about relationships? I know that we naturally defer to patterns to notice differences. And those differences are there, but in and of themselves, differences don't diminish value. In fact, we sometimes give value to things that are different versus things that are alike. Being different from the majority or the status quo isn't necessarily a thing to be avoided as much as it might just be a thing to be understood and a thing to be valued because it allows us to see things from different perspectives. Sometimes we allow our perceptions of differences or things that are unfamiliar to us to become barriers to understanding and to building relationships versus taking the time to understand or even see the things that we do have in common. I'm reminded of a couple of people that wanted the same outcome, but they had different perspectives and approaches that they leaned on. And they really leaned on their own experience, their own understanding and interpretations instead of attempting to look at things from a varied or different perspective. In this example, their resistance to intentionally seeking to understand an alternative perspective created a barrier that prevented forward momentum. Now, just imagine if those same two people were to seek out common ground or maybe even just a shared understanding and use that as a basis to move forward. If they were to do that, doing that would allow them to bypass what they currently were viewing as a barrier to progress. The reality is that we are always learning, we're always changing, whether we do that intentionally or not. So, having an intentional mindset for progress can be really important from this perspective. Even when we find common ground or understanding as a basis for a path forward, it doesn't mean that we will agree on everything, but what it does do is allow us to make as much progress as possible in a respectful manner. And there may even come a point in time when we decide that the relationship may not be what we had hoped that it would be or what we might like. But when we get to that decision, after we've put in some intention, some time, some effort, that decision will then be based on understanding instead of just speculation that might be false. So, my encouragement today is for each one of us to be careful not to let our preconceptions and assumptions get in the way of understanding and our ability to form positively impactful relationships with one another. Differences can be appreciated and they can bring strength. So, let's seek to understand one another and let's seek to interact with respect and build those positive relationships. And with that, that is my few minutes for today. I hope that you found that this has been a topic that's been inspiring, something to help you think, learn, grow, and ultimately lead a more fulfilling life. I hope that if you are enjoying these messages, you'll hit that like button, you'll hit the share button so that others can come along and join our learning journey as well. Please be sure to check out the show notes for a summary of today's session, as well as contact information if you'd like to be in touch and information on how to get my recent publications. Again, I'm so appreciative of you joining me here today, and I sure hope to see you back next time. Until then, bye bye.